Hey guys, Michel here, national and world speed shooting champion. And with my recent partnership with Galco, I'm now able to bring you guys more content as it relates to concealed carry. Now with so much things that we can talk about, so many topics that we can cover, we're going to get there in time. But this being our first real episode, I really want to break down the mindset of concealed carry. And we're going to go through this process several times over throughout our journey together. But to get us started, that's where I want to get going, right? So we're going to look at technique and gun selection, drawing from a holster, multiple rounds on a single target or multiple threats downrange, different trigger press, different sight pictures. We're going to cover a great deal of topics as we go. But I really want to get into the mental mindset of concealed carry to get us going here. Now, the first thing we need to think about is our why. Why are we carrying? Now, if you ask me that question, I'm carrying to protect myself and my loved ones at all times, right? And I am all in. I'm 100% all in. We can't pick and choose that mindset. We need to be all in at all times. So make sure you have your understanding of why you're carrying, understand your environment, right? Understand what type of clothing you might find yourself in throughout those weeks and months that are leading up. And we need to have that gear selection and that clothing selection early, right? Again, we're 100% all in. So we're thinking about, hey, yeah, I want to go to the store and purchase a new shirt. But when I purchase that new shirt, is that particular shirt going to print, or is that particular shirt going to show a little bit more than something else? So when you're thinking about clothing, just real quickly while we're on this topic, and you're 100% all in to conceal carry, maybe you might want to get pant size that are a little larger, that allow you to have the ability to place that inside the waistband holster, right, comfortably. When you're looking at shirts and garments, you might want to look at shirts that are a little bit bigger or a little bit bulkier, or maybe even have some sort of a pattern or some large print on the front shirt, right? So that way, if it's a standard white polo or a standard navy blue polo, you might be able to see the printing on there a little easier than you would if you had a t-shirt with a large print on it, or maybe a plaid shirt, something of that nature, something that breaks up the design of the shirt might not show as much, right? So again, we're thinking about that mindset of we want to be 100% all in once we figure out our why, and make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success in the coming weeks or months down the road. So clothing is going to be extremely important for that. Also, when we're 100% all in and we figure out our why, I'm going to let those people in my life, I'm going to let them know that I'm carrying. My wife is going to know, and my kids are going to know. Now, my kids are a little older now, so they always know that daddy's been around guns for his whole life, and that's what I do for a living. But with that said, I want to make sure that if I'm going to be carrying my child, I'm going to carry them in a certain way that I can still access my firearm, right? If I'm sitting in a restaurant, I'm going to sit in a restaurant in a certain way that I can see the entrance and the exit, and I can access my firearm easily and accordingly, and maybe even discreetly, right? Because I don't want people to know that I'm carrying concealed. This is for me and my family to know. I just want to blend in like everyone else. And I want you guys to do the same as well. So again, this is a mental mindset, really blending into the general population, making sure our cover, our garment, whatever it is that we're wearing for the day, we're just blending in like everyone else. And we're just a normal dad ready to be able to protect our loved ones and our family or ourselves should we need to do that, right? So with all that said, we also want to look at gun selection. And we're going to dive into that a lot deeper here in the future. But compact guns versus full-size guns versus micro-compact guns, being able to carry concealed, being able to conceal it is one thing, but being able to shoot it is another thing. So if we need to be able to draw that firearm at a high rate of speed and activate the trigger accordingly, we might want to get a larger size pistol to be able to shoot it more comfortably. And if that's the case, we need to look at our clothing and again, our lifestyle and whatnot, right? So all the things that we just discussed and we just chatted about. But in general, I just really want you guys to have a better understanding of the mindset of the concealed carry and making sure that we're blending in. Because we're carrying a concealed firearm doesn't mean that we're going to fight every day, right? I'm not going out every day looking for a fight. Matter of fact, it's the total opposite. I'm trying to avoid those pitfalls. I'm hanging out in my neighborhood, I'm hanging out with my kids, I'm hanging out with my family, and I'm not trying to start anything. I'm not trying to get involved with anything. Matter of fact, if I'm walking down somewhere and it's a dark alley and there's a few folks in there in that alley, I might grab my kids' hands and say, hey guys, let's go around this other block to get to the restaurant if I'm downtown or whatever it is. We don't have to go through that path just because you're carrying concealed, right? We want to avoid the situation as much as possible and do all that we can to protect our loved ones. And sometimes that means taking a different route. But again, overall, carrying concealed means carrying concealed. Think about this for me as well. If you're carrying a knife, right, and you're showing that knife, everybody knows you have a knife now because they see that particular hanger on your belt or the hanger on your pant clothing. If you have a spare magazine and it looks like a knife, and there's a lot of magazine pouches out there that look like knives. I don't even really want you to know that I'm carrying a knife. I just want you to know that I'm a normal guy walking down the street, right? I don't want any targets on my back. So think about when you're carrying concealed, you truly want to be concealed. A lot of us out there carry with one little shirt over the top of our firearm. But the minute that you're carrying your child or the minute that you're reaching in the vehicle to grab something, you print and you show, and now you're telling everybody that you're carrying, right? So let's truly think, how are we going to be concealed? Maybe it's wearing double layers of clothing. Maybe it's carrying in a different spot. Maybe it's, again, understanding what your lifestyle is and making sure that each person that you love that is with you knows what your lifestyle is and that you're doing your best to protect yourself and them. And we're going to all make sure that daddy or mommy stays concealed at all times, right? So I don't want my child running up to me at the park and jumping on me and then saying, "Daddy, what's this on your hip?" Right? They need to know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and why I'm doing it at all times. Yes, they're young children, but they also need to make sure that we're all doing the right thing to protect one another, right? So my kids, they know what I'm doing at all times. My wife knows what I'm doing at all times, and I'm doing my very best to stay concealed with the proper mindset. I'm not looking for a fight. I'm trying to avoid pitfalls everywhere that I can, and I'm doing my very best to make sure that I'm just blending in with the general population. All right, guys, there's going to be many more videos like this to come. Please continue to watch, and until next time, train hard.